Good morning. You find me here at Second Valley, and there's a jetty out there that you probably can't see. It's just darkness out there. We're about 45 minutes before dawn, and this is about my third or fourth attempt to try and capture this jetty without any fisher people on it, and unfortunately they've beaten me again. I thought it being a weekday and being relatively yucky weather that we would get it in all its glory on our own, but we haven't. But hey, we'll share. So let me set up and I'll talk to you in a moment. So I'm busy trying to get a composition in the dark, which is always a bit of a challenge. But what I have is there's a set of rocks here on the right hand side, a little path leading up on the right to the jetty, around about on the middle third, the top third. I've focused for this on the jetty itself, and I will do exposure for the near rocks, and we will have to focus stack. So the guess is whether I do a 4 or 8 minute exposure. I'm going to go for the 8 minute exposure. 2 second timer. 8 minutes. Off we go. No need for any filters this early in the morning. There is a nice red glow on the horizon, but the rest of the sky is fairly clear of cloud. I did expect or wish a little bit more, but never mind. You never get everything that you wish for, but we're out photographing. As I said, there are a couple of fishermen out there, and my only wish would be that they switch their lights off, because I'm going to get light trails, but that might add some interest in on that jetty itself. We'll just have to see. Okay, so composition number 2. I'm just going to go ahead and check it first. I've been watching these waves, so I think we're okay. Just down here. Yep, that'll work. I just want these rocks framing the bottom of the shot, with the jetty just above. So that should work, I'm hoping so. Gorgeous rocks, and they're nice and wet, which darkens them. It just means I've got to use a polarizer. So I think this will probably end up being 16 by 9 crop. There's a lot of that sky that we don't actually need in shot. And I'm going to use the polarizer here. So you can see there's glare on those rocks. continue swinging around with the polarizer, and they go dark. It's exactly what we want. That glare's taken off so we can see the texture in those rocks. And I'm gonna have to put on a soft grad here to tame that sky a touch. Ideally I would love to get even lower here, but I'm not going to do that because those splashes would start hitting the front of our filters, and in this case just before the front of our lens too. And so I'm just going to pop that filter on to darken that sky slightly, just to tame it and bring it back into under control. I will need to focus stack once again. I've focused on the jetty, and then I will have to capture these rocks just to make sure that we get them all in focus all the way up. Exposure time to around about 50 seconds, and away we go. I will need to focus stack once again. So with this shot, there is a beautiful bright piece of rock strata that's on the right hand side, which leads perfectly up to that jetty. So I'm just focusing in on that rock. It's very close to us. It's a 10-second exposure. And then focus on the jetty. Nicely exposed, beautiful scene. Always check your focus. So it's focused perfectly on the rock. But if I look at the jetty, that's soft. My previous image, jetty's beautifully sharp. And the rocks are just a touch soft. So the two focused images, one on the rock, one on the jetty itself, should reap some rewards. And that colour's quite. So this is probably the simplest of shots. So I've got the rocks coming in along the right hand side. I've got the rock coming in this rock wall along the bottom left, and the jetty in the middle. So I'm just going to focus on that jetty. It's a 4-second exposure. We'll take a quick look at that. Let's make sure that we haven't clipped anything, and we haven't, which is great. I'm going to very quickly focus on this near rock and do a 4-second shot. We've got that. The rock isn't going to change. I'm going to go focus a third of the way in on the rock. That isn't going to change. And then I'm going to lock my focus on the jetty and then lock it. So that's locked. With a 6-stop, it's 1 for 1. 1 second gives you 1 minute. So if we've got 4 seconds, that should give us a 4-minute exposure. I can then put in my 6-stop. Probably just going to push it up to F18. Just so, because that light is getting lighter and lighter. I'm going to push this all the way up now to 4 minutes. And that's to get a super smooth water and capture the last of that colour blending in the sky. So thanks for joining me here again today at Second Valley Jetty. It is, you can see how popular it is. I will get it with no people on. I'm determined to get it with no people on. I've been here in the middle of winter and this is spring. Summer, I'm going to give it a miss because it's bound to be very busy. So I'm going to go, probably next time I'm coming back here, it'll be in about 6 months' time at autumn, and I will pick the deepest, darkest, dankest, wettest, craziest day of the year when it looks like there should be no photography whatsoever, blustery winds, storm coming in off the sea, but I'm determined to get this jetty empty. But I'll try my best, we'll see. So fingers crossed on that. So, hey, I've had a lovely morning. We got some nice colour, very pastel-y, nothing too dramatic, nothing too outlandish, which is sometimes the colour that you get in those twilight hours can be a little bit otherworldly because of the deep saturation of the colour that you get because it's been refracted through so much of the atmosphere. So we didn't get that, but we've got some beautiful pastel colours, and we've got orange, yellows and pinks, as well as those light blues that were coming through from the sky. So no, I'm very pleased with that. And yeah, and we have to share these locations, don't we? Because they're not exclusively ours. So yep, the promise is there. I will be back, and we will get an empty jetty sometime. Even if I've got to do a 20-minute exposure, we will get an empty jetty sometime in the future. So all it leaves me to say is thank you very much for joining me here today. Look after yourself and your loved ones and wherever you are. See ya.